Sahana vavatu, Sahana bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu, Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May the Lord protect us. May He nourish us. May we acquire the capacity to study and understand the scriptures. May our study be brilliant, and may we not cavil at each other. Om peace, peace, peace unto us all. Dear brothers and sisters, loving Sai Ram to all of you. So we welcome all of you for the online satsang of Sri Sathya Sai Baba Center of Arcadia. So today we are going to start the study circle and the study guide for Christmas. The thing is, the theme, Jesus Christ, His life and His message. Probably you might have already received the communication that we are going to have Christmas celebrations on 25th and 26th of December, keeping into consideration the various time zones. I was really amazed to see there are 38 time zones in the world. I didn't realize that till we checked. So we need to accommodate the people from different zones. So we are going to have one broadcast on December 25th, another 26th. You might have received. Along with that communication, you probably have also received the study guide, which is prepared by the Scriptural Studies Committee. So I wish all of you a happy and holy Thanksgiving. I know this is the day when people do Thanksgiving for the gifts from God. It started for thanks for the harvest season. Now it has become a fun holiday, getting together with family, having feasting and entertainment. But that is the thing. Just to in all cultures, it is there, Thanksgiving. For us, it comes in Sankranti time in January, and everybody in every culture there. So just we need to give thanksgiving to God, express gratitude to God, and God, number one, and then to gratitude to nature, gratitude to the parents, gratitude to the family, gratitude to teachers. Swami says, man minus gratitude is equal to animal. So even animals have gratitude, like dogs. They are very faithful to their master. So only human beings sometimes have no gratitude. So this is the way to express our gratitude to all. So now we are going to start this study circle for the Christmas, Jesus Christ, His life and His message. So Swami gave a lot of importance for Christmas. He had almost every year used to have the people celebrate Christmas in Prashanti Nilayam. And we do that all over the world in various Sathya Sai centers and institutes around the world. We celebrate Christmas by sharing His love and His message. And Swami gave many discourses on the life and message of Jesus. And we are going to touch few highlights, and we are going to start today. And hopefully you have received it in the email. Also, you are sending the, right, Karthik, the link. So we are going to first start the quote, and then the start of the main message, which will start on page 2. Go ahead, Anton, please.
Thank you, Dr. Reddy. Sai Ram, brothers and sisters, happy Thanksgiving. The study guide we are starting today can also be found on the website sathasai.org, and you can download it from there. If you have any questions, please put it in the Zoom, and we'll try to address that when we have time. This study guide is offered with love and gratitude at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Sri Sathya Sai Baba on the occasion of Holy Christmas 2021. People talk of the sacrifice of Christ as evidenced by his crucifixion. He was surrounded, bound, and crowned by the crowd who captured him with a crown of thorns and later nailed to the cross by his captors. A person bound and beaten by the police cannot say that he has sacrificed anything, for he is not a free man. Let us pay attention to the sacrifice that Jesus made while free, out of his own volition. He sacrificed his happiness, prosperity, comfort, safety, and position. He braved the enmity of the powerful. He refused to yield or compromise. He renounced the ego, which is the toughest thing to get rid of. Honor him for these. He willingly sacrificed the desires with which the body torments man. This is sacrifice greater than the sacrifice of the body under duress. The celebration of his birthday has to be marked by your sacrificing at least a desire or two and conquering at least the more disastrous urges of the ego. December 24th, 1972. Should stop here?
Yeah, we can continue that next one, the message of Jesus Christ. Because those
Message of Jesus Christ. On December 25th, when Jesus was born, 3 kings came to his birthplace. These 3 gave expression to 3 different views about the newborn baby. One of them, looking at the infant, said, quote, "This child looks like one who will be a lover of God," unquote. A second king said, "God will love this child." The third king declared, "Verily, this child is God himself." The first one viewed the child from the physical point of view. The second saw the child from the mental point of view. The third saw from the Atmic, spiritual point of view. The 3 declarations indicate how one can progress from the human to the divine level. What is needed is the destruction of the animal and demonic qualities in man. Man today worships inanimate idols and images, but makes no attempt to love his fellow human beings in flesh and blood. This was the first message of Jesus. Though one sees his neighbors day after day, he does not choose to love them. How can one believe that such a person can love an invisible God? If a man cannot love a fellow human being who is visible before his eyes, how can he love what is not visible to him? This is not possible. Only a man who loves living beings around him can love the invisible divine. Love must start with love for beings that have form. It must be extended to all beings. This is the primary stage in spirituality. Spirituality does not mean preoccupation with meditation, worship, etc. It involves total extinction of the animal and demonic qualities in man and the manifestation of one's inherent divinity. When the attachment and hatred in which man is enveloped are removed, the inherent divinity in man, the Sat Chit Ananda in him, will manifest itself. There is no need to search for the omnipresent divine in any specific place. When you are yourself divine, why search for the divine elsewhere? It is a mark of ignorance. December 25th, 1992. So in that opening quote from the discourse Swami gave in 1972, Swami is pointing out what is the inner meaning of the sacrifice, that it is not just being bound to the cross, although he suffered for all his good qualities, but it is the renunciation of the ego, and this underscores one of Swami's greatest Mahavakyas. And these are very short phrases, but they have tremendous power, that man minus ego equals God. Once we get rid of the ego, then all the 6 inner enemies inside us disappear, and therefore we become divine. So our birthday should be, the birthday of Jesus should be marked by sacrificing our inner enemies, our egos. Then on page 2 of the PDF document, Swami talks about the message of Jesus Christ in his discourse from 1992. And the first three quotes from the three kings who visited Jesus at his birth have the same meaning that Swami talked about later, that the process of love, lover, and the loved one are all reflections of God. And that is why he says, love is God, live in love. And this relates back to that saying we have in the scriptures, Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati, that when we know Brahman, we become Brahman. So Jesus progressed from the physical level to the mental level to the spiritual level. And this is the path Swami is recommending for us. And how to do this? Then in the next part, he says, this can be done when we remove our bad qualities or demonic qualities or animal qualities which bind us. So first we have to understand what those demonic qualities are and then remove them one by one, and that leaves us with Satchitananda. The Swami says we are name, form, and then Satchitananda. So if you remove the name and form, which is attachment to the body and the ego, what is left is divinity itself.
Yeah, that is a good summary. So first the quote, that is what, you are being in a cross and being crucified. Swami says that's not a big sacrifice. Can you believe that there is being a torture, you are being crucified, nailing and torturing? Because he says even that you can do, but the greatest sacrifice is sacrificing the ego. That is why when Swami materialized the cross for Hislop, Dr. Hislop, so he says, what is the significance of cross? Actually, Swami brought the piece of the wood which it is made up as from the original when Jesus was crucified, and he said that. And then he said the significance is crossing the ego. That is why just I, and then the cross. So that is the ego is the one which is the greatest obstacle for us to realize our innate divinity. That is what it is. It is easy to give up even hearth and home. He says people think renunciation means you give up your home and job, run away into a cave or a forest and do meditation. He says that is easy to do, but that's why he said head in the forest and hands in the society. So just you should be active in the society with the complete detachment. And these great masters are the examples. Actually, there is a beautiful story in Yoga Vashishta. There is a king called Sikidwaja. So this man is such a good spiritual seeker. So after everything he gave away, when the right time came, he gave away his family, his kingdom. He went for meditation into the forest and he used to do meditation. So then he gets a lesson from his own wife, Chodalaka. She comes in a disguised form and says, so what are you doing? So I'm doing. So he says, what did you go up? I gave away my kingdom. I gave away my family, everything. I'm in real search of God. He says, no, you didn't give away anything. Then he says, okay. He says he has some belongings to, okay, he throws them away. And then after a while, she comes back. See, I gave away everything. No, you didn't give away. Then he thought, okay, I have these clothes. So he throws away threw away the clothes. And he says, see, and then after again she comes back, you didn't give away anything. Then he says, so I have only this body. You want me to shall I give away the body? No, that feeling, I gave away the kingdom, I gave away the family, I gave away the clothes, I gave away this. That I is the one which you should give away. The minute I goes, then you are free. When are you free? The minute I goes. That is why Swami says the greatest obstacles, that giving up of the I, that feeling of the reaction. There's another story also. Swami said one monk was there. He gave away everything. He had nothing else, and just he was sleeping on a stone. So he had another boulder and as like a pillow at the back of the thing. So then people who are going out, this man gave away everything. He still wants some comfort. You see that he is having a pillow. He was putting the boulder. And this guy was upset. That's bare minimum he is having, and even for that people are criticizing. So then he threw away that too. And then the people were coming back after taking some water from the river. Then they said, this man is not only has ego, but he has got anger. and reaction. So he's reacting to our comments. You see, he's throwing away. That means you should be indifferent for praise and blame. That is why Swami was telling the greatest sacrifice Jesus did was, because those times they really reviled on him, because he came revolutionized the scriptures. He says they're following the letter of the scriptures. They were trying to do in the temple to make the place of worship as a place of business. So he came and showed the way, and they were really persecuting him and spreading bad things about him. He didn't care. So he was in pursuit of truth. That is why Swami says the greatest sacrifice is people who are inimical to him, who try to be critical of him, who try to scandalize him. So he didn't react. He just pursued the truth. That is important. And second thing here, the other thing we talked about, 3 declarations that first so this is our spiritual evolution. First, when you are body consciousness, we think we are the servant of God. So that is the beginning stage. Then as we develop, as we get purified and as we have devotional aspect, then you think you are part of God. You are part of Lord. Then finally, when you get rid of all your ignorance and demonic qualities and evil qualities, you realize I and my Father are one. We are one with God. That is the one Swami says you need to progress, because when you have complete body consciousness, the best attitude is the attitude of servant, dasoham. I am your servant. So as you progress, you are just a devotee of God. Then as you purify and you get that, then you have soham. I am he, I am he. So the whole progress is from dasoham to soham. This is the stage which have. Actually, it happens to a lot of people. Even Howard Muffet, when he wrote the book, first book he wrote, what did he write? Sai Baba, Man of Miracles. First he thought Swami is just a man of miracles, because still he saw that. Then next stage he came as improved, the progress. Sai Baba, Avatar. Sai Baba, the Avatar. So he realized Swami is the Avatar. And next one, he wrote, where the road ends. That means he knows he is the ultimate. He is the goal. He is the goal of spirituality. Like even Phyllis Crystal wrote, the ultimate experience, the ultimate. And finally he wrote the inner view. So finally you realize the God whom you search outside is not anywhere there. He is within you. He is our indweller. That is the experience Swami is telling we should have. Don't seek God. See God. So whatever you see is nothing but divine, because he says every atom, every cell is permeated by God. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, Sarvam Vishnumayam Jagat. That kind of experience. So we should have, that is the truth, but we don't experience. Why? Because of our animal and demonic qualities. What is, so I am no negative qualities. Simple thing is, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Desire. We all have desires, multiple desires. So cut down the desires. That is why Swami says the greatest sacrifice he had is cutting down desires. Desire. And we get angry sometimes when things don't go our way. And desire, anger, greed. We want to have more and more stuff. So whatever indulgences we have. And then we get attachment to our body, attachment to our family, attachment to our properties, attachment to our name, fame. Then pride that belongs to something. And then jealousy. Yes, Swami says God is omnipresent. Jealousy is omnipresent. So people have jealousy in all walks. So these are the things, and each one of us have different degrees. So once you completely get rid of them, then Swami says this love, divine love manifests in ourselves. That is what is very important. And these demonic qualities also. I was thinking, because we always think demons means people who are dark complexion, they have little bit things, and they have funny characteristics. It is nothing to do with, there could be most handsome people, they could be most demonic. And they may not, people may not be not good looking, they may be the most divine quality of people. So you don't need to identify the body characteristics with the divine or demonic qualities. Actually, Lord Krishna says that clearly in Gita. Who are the people who are demons? We should verify, we all get that. Dambo, Darpo, Abhimanascha, Krodha, Parushamevacha. Anybody who tries to show off things, how great he is, how wealthy he is by his having flying in his own plane, or showing off these cars, or big banners. So Dambha, that is called, and Darpa, just trying to boss over people. Abhimanas, too much attachment things. Krodha, anger, so just getting angry words or angry thoughts. And Parushameva, just talking very harsh and rude. So sometimes when we get into different, we can talk, that is also Parusham, when you do it very harsh talking. And finally, Ajnana, ignorance, the thinking we are the body. Whenever you have that, those are all demonic qualities. That is why Swami says, so don't think we all have different degrees, different times, different degrees of demonic qualities. Even like one girl was writing as a school, when she has to given 2 assignments, 2-3 girls, and this girl was wanted to present. Teacher said no, that other girl. She got so mad. So that time she studied that, that time that I have this anger, so resentment. There is a demonic quality. And then try to be revile against the teacher. There is a demonic qualities. So these are all various demonic qualities. So these demonic and negative qualities, when we get rid of, then we can really develop love for God. So this is very important things, how to manifest love for God and to make sure we experience God in everything. Okay, so next we can proceed.
This life is a temporary rest place. Develop knowledge about the higher levels of consciousness and the higher planes of existence. Knowledge leads to skill. From skill in using such knowledge, one acquires balance. You must recognize that this life is a stage in the long pilgrimage, and that we are now at a hotel, a temporary resting place, which is also a watchman. The mind is the watchman. So do not feel permanently attached to the mind or the body. This quote-unquote negative body has the quote-unquote positive divinity within it. When you become all-embracing infinite love, the divine will manifest in and through you. Try to be like Jesus. Jesus was a person whose only joy was in spreading divine love, offering divine love, receiving divine love, and living on divine love. There are various theories about the birth date of Jesus based on the, quote, bright star that appeared at his birth, unquote. It is visible once in 800 years, it is said. Its appearance had nothing to do with the birth of Jesus. There is no rule that when divine energy or divine incarnation descends on earth, a star has to appear. That is the opinion of devotees only. But Jesus was himself a star of infinite value, spreading brilliance of infinite dimension. Why posit another less brilliant glow? Today is the birthday of Jesus, celebrated amidst December snowfalls with lights, Christmas trees, and prayers. But it is useless to pray just one day and forget God the rest of the year. That is an empty show. It does not emanate from the heart. We are true Christians only when we live according to the teachings of Christ and practice them in daily life. Even if we follow 2 teachings of His, that would be enough. Christ said, quote, all life is one, my dear son. Be alike to everyone, unquote. Page 4. Love is God, live in love. Develop love for God. All other forms of love are not love at all, but only fleeting and impermanent attachments. Man's biggest folly is forgetting his divinity. All should realize that they come from God. All are children of God. Everyone should seek to get nearer and nearer to God. That is spiritual practice, sadhana. You must feel that God dwells in your heart. You must develop compassion in the heart, because without it, the heart is only a stone. That is the message of Jesus, the message of love. Love is God. Live in love. Start the day with love. Spend the day with love. End the day with love. This is the way to God. Only the person who is filled with love will be dear to the Lord. Today, devotees from many countries are here. Whatever happiness you may have experienced here, you must sustain that when you go back to your countries. That is got by God's grace. You can get it through love and love alone. When you have that love, your proximity to God is ensured forever. December 25th, 1979. Next section. Always speak obligingly. Spirituality does not mean simply doing bhajans and performing some acts of worship. Cultivate noble qualities. Always be helpful to others and earn a good name. Jesus earned such a good name by sacrificing his body on the cross. You also must be prepared for such a great sacrifice. Jesus Christ developed such noble qualities. He gave protection to several poor and destitute people with a loving heart. In fact, several such people sought refuge in him. In the process, he had to face the wrath of several enemies. You should help people even if you have to undergo some difficulties. Never indulge in reviling others, for the same Atma is permeating every living being. If you abuse others, it amounts to abusing your own self. If you do not like them, keep yourself away from them, but never abuse them. Any amount of good work done by you will be of no use if you do not give up bad qualities. If you cannot do good to others, at least speak good words. You cannot always oblige, but you can speak always obligingly. If you find someone suffering, try to help him. Today it is his turn, but tomorrow it could be yours. Always keep this in mind. Nobody can escape from pain and suffering. Always pray for the welfare of all. December 25th, 2002. Should we stop here?
Yeah.
So on page 3, Swami is reminding us of that temporary abode that this earth and this life is. And this is something that all the masters and the great spiritual teachers have told us. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa used to say the journey is like going on a highway. In the old days, they used to go on foot or on bullock carts from one Saraikana to another. Saraikana is a temporary resting place. And each day's journey, he said, is like one lifetime. And the end point is God. We are going towards God. Every little object, every person is on a journey like that. So if you remember that this is a temporary place, this is not a permanent, then we can focus more and more on the ultimate goal. And here Swami is pointing out another great truth. Why did he come? In fact, he said this very nicely in the old days, that he wants a Hindu to be a better Hindu, Christian to be a better Christian, to be a Muslim to be a better Muslim. And so he wants the betterment of humanity itself. And in order to do that, then there are certain steps that he specified for us. If we follow his teachings, like he's saying later, if you follow just 2 teachings of Jesus, you are there. Similarly, if you follow Swami's teaching, nothing else we need to do. So Jesus was famous for 2 things, love and compassion. And love, Swami says, is the main goal, the main quality, the main thing that exists in this entire universe, because love is God. And so if we just follow the path of love, as he himself showed through his example, then we can get to God very easily. The last section is something very practical, because we all get agitated, we all speak harsh words from time to time. Swami is pointing out that you cannot oblige always, but keep in mind, you can always speak obligingly. So this is an art that diplomats practice, and we should also to speak obligingly, because pain and suffering is inbuilt in this world. There is always pain and suffering, and pain is an interval between two pleasures and vice versa. So nobody can escape. So this is a very practical advice Swami is giving us, through which we can have greater peace and greater calm. Sai Ram.
So this speak obligingly, that means you should speak nice, but at the same time people think speak of obligingly, they speak untruth. That is what Anupam said, diplomat. That is what diplomats said, they speak obligingly, but they tell untruth and lies. That is dangerous. So Satyam Bruyat, Priyam Bruyat. She says when you speak truth, speak very pleasant. Na Bruyat Satyam Apriyam, because to make somebody happy, that is what the diplomats or the statesmen, the politicians do. To make others happy, they will tell all kind of lies. That as a spiritual seeker, very dangerous. So even some devotees, people say, oh, you want to come? Yeah, I will come, but they don't keep up. That is very important. Word, truth is very important. So if you don't want to hurt, just keep quiet, but don't to please others. If something you are very nice out there, it is not, may not be, don't say if it's not true. It should be thought, word and deed should be very important when you speak. So speak softly, lovingly and good, but don't speak the untruth. That is very important, because I have seen even some senior devotees doing that. That the example is Sri Ramakrishna. One time he said he's somebody's house. He says, I will come today. And then he forgot about it. So then he remembered late in the evening, in those days. So you are talking 1800s. So I think he left his body in 1886. So he was going, and in the night he remembered, and he took a lantern. Those days no electricity, no flashlight. And the light, he went there and went to their house. He didn't want to wake them up late in the night. He went there, door sill, touched it and left. You see, when you give a word, that you should speak and stick to that word. That is why Swami Brahmananda used to say, you speak truth completely and never tell a lie for 12 years, just 12 years. Any word you say will happen, because the power you get that have speaking truth. So speaking, the speech is very important. So you should speak. If necessary, silence is the best. Silence is the language of the spiritual seeker. Swami says you cannot improve on silence. So if you don't need to speak, don't speak. But if you have to speak, speak the truth. And the truth should be very loving, and also it should be something which should help people. Just for sake of speaking, don't speak. If it is not necessary, not speak, just keep. And try to keep it concise and brief to the point. As somebody says, you have something to say, or say something. So a lot of people want to say something. So just make, but you have to something to say, something which really is valuable. So these words, Swami says, first, the more subtle it is more powerful. When you hit somebody, slap somebody, or you hit somebody, there may be a scratch, and then after a while it heals, you will forget. But words which you use very harsh and hurtful, because they're more subtle, they will remember. You will sometimes remember for years together, and some people, generation, they carry the grudge. But even more powerful, Swami says, is thoughts. So body injury, when you do, it is bad. The words are more dangerous. Higher is thoughts. So you should not even have negative thoughts. They hurt others without your knowledge. So loving thoughts are very, very important. So because here he was telling, all these great masters, sometimes we go through people criticizing, what will you do? These great people like Jesus Christ, he gave away his life. And you can read any of this Lord Buddha, how he was own family, that his cousin Devadatta tries to hurt him, try to kill him, and so spread wrong rumors on him. You go and read any of these great people. That's what Swami said about somebody was Swami, they are talking, see about me. So that's why people are writing all this in these newspapers and magazines. It doesn't bother me at all. If it is true, will change. If it is not true, it doesn't matter to us. So that kind of attitude Swami is teaching, that he had so many enemies who had tried to bother, but nothing really affected. And the greatest thing is, again, love, love, love. That's what the greatest commandment Jesus said is, love thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength. That is the greatest commandment. That is the number one commandment is, love thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength. And then the corresponding is, love thy neighbor as thyself. Because love thy neighbor as thyself, that is what Jesus said. But actually Swami said it's not as thyself. It is thyself. It is you. Swami beautiful in Telugu said, Parudu kadaya paramatmudaya. That person you think others is not really other. It is yourself. It is a reflection. We think because of our ignorance, it is the other person. So to think that it is ourselves, that is why he says, whenever you criticize other people, so it is really you are criticizing yourself. But the other people criticize, he says, just be happy, because that day I was reading the discourse of Swami, I think it's 1999 or something, so I will verify. So there, Swami clearly says, when somebody is criticizing you for no fault of yours, you didn't do anything wrong. So just Karthik, why did you do it wrong? You didn't do that. So then be happy. That means his good merit is coming to you. And your bad thing will go to him. There is a thing, it is in Mahabharata, and Swami confirmed it in the discourse. That means more people, they criticize you, thank their, like somebody is talking about their bank balance comes to you. How do you do? So each time somebody says $1,000 comes in your thing, another time. So your spiritual bank balance goes up. So just don't feel bad. That is why don't react eye for eye or tooth for tooth. That is not good. So just forbearance and take it. Okay, they say that let it be so. So this is, if there is a truth, you correct. If there is not truth, just completely ignorance. That is what Swami is talking about. Don't react to the thing. And then another thing is Swami says nearer to God. But another place he said, it's not just important to be near, but more important is dear to God. There are some people who are near, but they are not dear. But it is near is good, but you should be near and dear. Because when you are dear to God, wherever you are, like for example, we are here, you could be dear to, when you are dear, you are always near to God because God is with you. But sometimes physically you are near, but you may be away from God because you are not practicing what he says. That is what Jesus said. What is the use of calling Lord, 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 and you don't practice what I say? So what people who practice the teachings, they are dear to God. And Swami used to give a beautiful example, like in a lotus, where what is close to that? These frogs and all those things are close to the lotus, but they don't enjoy these honey from the lotus flower. Whereas the bees come all the way from a distance and go and take it. They take the advantage. So the main thing is how physically close. That is why I used to one time joke, Swami Prashantilayam, yeah, if you are there, you will get, he says, dogs are here, ants are here, insects are here. No, because of the physical proximity, it doesn't happen. In addition to physical proximity, you should have the dearness only by developing the divine qualities. How do you develop them? Following his teachings. So that is very important. Swami says you need to follow the teachings of Jesus. Even you follow one or two teachings, that is enough. That will take you to the goal, because this life is a temporary. We all think permanent. Is there anybody permanent here? Even avatars come and go. Swami was there. So after 85 years, he left the body. Shirdi Baba, same. Anybody, as long as something comes as a birth, it has growth and it has a death. It is just question of time. They say you live till 100 years. I don't know how many people live. Some people die when you are young. Some people in the youth, some middle age. But finally, end is for sure. That is why it is a temporary place. We need to know clearly there is nobody who is permanent in this world. starting from insects and birds. It's like dogs. How many years the dogs live? For them, 100 years. I said 7 to 10 years. So we all, the dogs. So everybody has to go. But the thing is, how do you make your life? That is why Swami said, don't pray to God for long life. Pray for divine life. Swami says, not dirgha jivitam, but divya jivitam. You should have long life is okay, nothing wrong with that if it is divine. You are going to saturate with divine love. So not long life, but divine life. Like see this great Adi Shankara. How long did he live? Only 32. But he made so much. Swami Vivekananda, only 39. And Ramakrishna Paramsa, only 49. Jesus, I heard, was 32. Like that, these people, their longevity was not much. They didn't live many years. They made so much contribution to the welfare of the humanity. That is more important. What did I do? How did I contribute to the good of society? What did I do the betterment? That should be the one. Swami says, because whenever what leaves behind comes with us is our good merit, good actions. So we should remember that. So this is very important. That's why Swami's formula, it is like a thing. You should sing that song also. It says, start the day with love, fill the day with love, spend the day with love, end the day with love, and this is the way to God. That's all the whole thing is. How to, and then Swami here is talking about the difference between divine love and worldly love. Try to develop the divine love, because everybody has love, because without love we are not, nobody will live. Even Swami says, thief will have love for stealing things. And so even everybody has love for wrong things. So some people have love only for themselves. Some people, better people, they will have love for their family. Better people, they will have family and some friends. But the thing is, love for all. That's why Swami says, love all. He didn't say only love some people. That means love all means, it looks very simple. It's not easy. People who don't like us also we should love. They love all means he didn't say love your friends, love your family, love you people who like. Love all means even people who give trouble to us, critical to us. That includes. So it looks simple but very profound. So that means you should extend this love for all. Then there is no question of any agitation or grief. So always you live in bliss. So that is the things. So let us all live in love. Be happy. So, okay, Sai Ram.